what's up you guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel and welcome to a bullet journal video. So I am going to be setting up my 2019 bullet journal, and I know this is going up a little bit late, but I thought I would post it anyway because I filmed it. So I'm just starting off with the first page. I'm just doing a like a stenciled out 2019. I'm just filling that in, and then as you can see I already sketched everything out in pencil because this is how I like to do things, to make sure that things are gonna fit and so that I don't mess anything up. So I am starting with this little cheat sheet over on the left. So I am just writing out a key for like my note taking and like my to-do list, things that are done, things that are canceled, important things. So I have that there, and then I have a little cheat sheet for the spacing. So I'm using a grid notebook, so it's just easier to have it already done on one page, and then I could go back and turn to it whenever I need to figure out the spacing for anything. So after I fill everything in with the black marker, I'm going to erase like the outline so you don't see like the pencil underneath. So for the midpoint of the page, and just to get this, I counted all the dots and then divided them by 2, obviously. So I'm going to do that in green, vertical and horizontal, and then I'm going to go in to thirds and then quarters with different colors so I could just stay a little bit on track. So for whatever reason, my camera was not on when I was like outlining my year at a glance header. So I did that with some fancy lettering, and then I also went in and did my, obviously, so this is my year at a glance, so I have all of my months out, and I wanted to try out using kind of like a black backdrop with the white gel pen on top, but this gel pen was not the best. I had to go over it like 4 or 5 times, which is super annoying. So I'm gonna have to try some different gel pens because I definitely like the look of it, but it was really annoying because this one wasn't the best that I could find. So as you can see, I had to go over it a few times, but then after that I went in with black marker to fill in the days of the week and then all the days for each and every single month. now that I have the year at a glance all finished, I love how that looked. I am going to go in and do like quarterly, I think it's quarterly, the months in general, so that I could have space to write important dates and like anything that's coming up in the year. So I used 3 pages for this, or 4. So I divided the pages in thirds, and then I just did some like fancy lettering. I kind of just winged this part and like filled it in a little bit so it looked like more calligraphy, but it's really not. It's just like regular cursive, and I just kind of filled it in a little bit. And then for each month, I did do a little mini calendar, just because I'm very visual and I like to see what day falls on what. So once I did all of that for this page, I move on to the next one all the way up until December. So as always, I'm going in and making sure to erase any pencil marks, and then I'm going to go in and do my little month like calendar thing right next to the big letter. So instead of doing like a black backdrop, I'm just going to do like an outline of the days of the month, and I think this looked a lot better. So I'm just going to keep doing that until they're all finished. So to add a little bit of interest, I am doing a little bit of a drop shadow on the days of the week, and it kind of brings it out a little bit more and makes it a little bit more interesting. So I liked how that turned out. So once I have all of those done, I'm gonna go in and start filling it out, just because I know like my family's birthdays and anniversaries and like holidays and stuff. So I'm just gonna go in and fill in what I know is important dates to remember for this year, and I'm just gonna fill those in. And I did color code them a little bit. So orange is birthdays, and then I think I did a different color for holidays and things like that. So just to keep it a little bit more organized and easy to read. So once I finish with that section, I'm moving on to my next spread. So this first one over on the left is going to be my goals, and basically this is like my New Year's resolution for 2019. So I want to kind of write that out and have a space to write everything that I want to accomplish this year. So I started out doing a little bit of a border, and I'm not using a straight edge this year. I decided that I'm just going to wing it a little bit and make it more rustic and kind of just like play with it a little bit, so it's not like super perfect. I did buy these little like stencil things on Amazon for really cheap, so I'll put those in the link, the ones that I bought. They're really flimsy, but they work for, you know, what I need them to work for. And so I decided to do a banner on this side, and I did a different banner on the goal side. So on this side I have it listed as like a travel page, so anywhere we go this year I'm gonna like jot it down so we can have it as memories or like goals of places that we want to go. So I wanted to do a black banner, but I knew that the that white gel pen was just not gonna do it. So I decided to kind of like play with it a little bit. I really didn't like how it turned out, but I decided to do like to write out travel and then like fill in around the word so that it could stay kind of like white, the actual word itself. But I'm not that good at bubble letters anymore, and it didn't look that good. So I would definitely change this next time, but it was a learning experience, and I definitely have to try out some better like gel pens, because this would have looked really cool with like a whole complete black banner and then like white or different colored letters. So that's just for next time. I will try something different, but it looked okay, but not the best. And then over on the left side for my goals section, I am going to do a different banner, and then I'm going to fill that in as well. So this particular stencil had a big rectangle, so I decided to use that to divide up my goals, and I kind of like lined it up and filled it in. I had to hold it down really well because this is really flimsy, but it worked, and so that was fine with me. And then I'm gonna do separate little like goal categories for each of these little sections. So to make these a little bit more interesting, I'm going to do a drop shadow, and it's not going to be perfect. I am kind of going for an imperfect bullet journal this year and kind of like winging it a little bit. So I just filled that in, and it definitely like made these little goal blocks like way more interesting to look at. So since I had all these awesome little stencils, I thought I would do some doodles down here at the bottom of the travel section. So I found all of these really cool ones, and I did like an air balloon and some other little fun travel locations. So definitely pretty cool, and I just filled it in because I kind of messed that one up a little bit, but ultimately it ended up looking pretty cool, and it's just kind of like a way to fill up the page a little bit so it's not so empty. So since I was messing around with more different things, I thought I would go back and kind of like zhuzh up the like the first page. So I decided to write in some cursive underneath the 2019 to 2019 and just do kind of like a fake calligraphy kind of thing with it. So I definitely think that made it look a little bit better. And then this is where I kind of went off the tracks a little bit, but I wanted to do a little bit of a border around it to make it look a little bit better, but then I messed it up, and then I did something that I kind of regret doing. But after I messed this up, I decided to kind of color that border in with black, and I do not like it. It looks really bad. So I had this black marker, which isn't very pigmented, so you could see it like it's really streaky and ugly, and I kept like messing it up. I don't know why I did this. I pretty much just don't like that first page anymore. I think with the border it would have been enough, but then I had to go in and just ruin it. But then, you know, I started it, so I had to finish it. And Kind of bummed about it, but for next year I'll definitely not be doing something weird like this. I'll plan out the first page a little bit better. Yeah, so that looks just terrible, but I wanted to go do like through a little bit of a run through of all the pages. So my little cheat sheet, my year at a glance, and then my 3-month view kind of thing per page, and following that is, you know, the next set of months. And I really like how this turned out. This was a really good idea. And then my goals section and my travel section. So that is it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did like it, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!